Hey guys, Jen here. We're outside of the district courthouse here in Flint, where the judge was about to make a decision on whether or not they're going to move forward to the trial portion, or whether or not the trial would even happen for Nick Lyon, who is the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services director. And he is actually the highest level Flint official who could potentially be charged with anything. So this is a big deal. Unfortunately, the judges kind of kicked the can down the road. And on both sides, actually the prosecution side and the defense side, they were kind of repeating arguments that they'd made all along. The judge has been hearing testimony. They've been holding this since last fall. And so now we aren't even going to hear a decision on whether it moves forward to trial until, I think they said August 20th. So the residents here are discouraged. Here we could have gotten a major decision in the Flint water crisis and the deaths. So let me back up and cover that a little bit. In addition to the lead, there was an outbreak of Legionnaires Disease, and potentially still is. It's dramatic, and according to official records, they say 12 people died from Legionnaires' disease. In reality, and in fact, a PBS report came out yesterday, a PBS Frontline report came out that they estimate the death total is closer to 120. I believe they said 119. And pneumonia really mimics Legionnaires' disease. So a lot of things that were categorized as a pneumonia death or a pneumonia sickness could have actually been Legionnaires. So Nick Lyon was charged with manslaughter because he maybe covered this up. That's what they're trying to figure out. When did he know? What did he do? He says that he told Governor Snyder before Governor Snyder admitted to knowing what was going on. Nick Lyon says his notes confirm this, so there's disagreements on all sides. The defense attorneys seem to think that the greatest defense is saying, oh, Nick Lyon, kind of dumb, didn't really know what he was doing. So they're trying to say that the director of the Department of Health and Human Services doesn't know what he's doing. So they're saying he's not an expert in this topic, and how could he have known? You know, he's in charge of I believe it's about 14,000 people that are under him. And they said he relied on the experts below him, and that no one said to do anything. No one said, ring the alarm bells. Everyone's kind of pointing fingers and blaming everyone else. In the meantime, it's the residents who are suffering. It's the families who are suffering. We have anywhere from 12 people to 120 people, and I suspect a hell of a lot more who have died from Legionnaires and other things, who've gotten sick from other things, and Legionnaires and lead. And these families are left behind. There are other people who are still suffering, and no one is being held accountable, at least not yet. And hopefully someone will be, but we won't know now until August 20th if this highest level official will be. And there are definitely calls for Governor Snyder to be charged as well, because he's at the top. He's even said, the buck stops with me. And if that's the case, why isn't he doing more? Why hasn't he been held accountable? And that's what the residents want to know. So as I said, we're out here outside the courthouse. It just happened. Later, we'll put up a clip of some questions we asked of one of the defense attorneys, lawyer Bursch, and asked him, what about these families? What about the reports that more people have died than the official numbers have allowed for? So we'll cover all that. We're going to be going live throughout the day. We're lining up some interviews with some residents, and just gonna keep plugging away. Gonna keep figuring out what's going on. There is other media here. A lot of local media has been reporting from the courthouse. They've been tweeting. But the question that gets lost over and over again, even with media presence, is about the families, is about who's going to be held accountable and why the residents have to continue to suffer. Later on, we'll be reporting on the fact that they're calling in tax liens against residents who haven't paid their water bill. So they're starting to call those in. So their water bill for poisoned water, the water that they can't drink, the water that is literally the highest amount of any water system in the whole country, that water. So now that they aren't paying to be poisoned, they're getting tax liens put on their home and could potentially lose their homes, which some people say is the entire goal. So we'll be going live later about tax liens with residents, about the lack of bottled water in the face of the water pods being shut down by the state. There's a lot to cover, a lot of sadness. You know, the residents seem kind of defeated in a way. They're not defeated. I know that they're going to keep fighting, but it's like another punch in the gut that this decision has been kicked down the road. So that's all for right now. Definitely subscribe, hit the bell, share, and go to patreon.com/Jordan Sheridan Reports and support us. And we'll see you in a little bit. Bye.